Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are indeed going to be getting started with this game. It is the third and final game in this series, and the winner will stay in the top bracket, whereas the loser of this game still has a lifeline in the qualifier, but does drop to the lower bracket. Who will it be? Spawning in the top right position as the red Terran player representing Team Millennium. It is our Korean Terran giant, 4GG. He's going to be facing off against the resilient Zerg in the top left-hand position, doing a fantastic job with his army positioning in that previous game to overwhelm and crush his Terran opponent, but he needs to do it one more time on a map that's arguably less favorable. Representing Team Dignitas, it is TEFL.
Alright, so, no drops from the players this time around. I believe one of the casters dropped.
Yeah.
But
quick question. Does the winner of this game qualify, or is there one more best of three?
No, this is because the top two from the winner bracket qualify.
That's right, and the top and the losers bracket qualify, which means this is for a qualification spot, is it not?
Yep, it is.
Pretty big stakes, man.
Alright, so same thing as every other game so far. We have a Reaper opening from 4GG, and we have a pool first from TEFL. Nobody, I've talked to so many people about this. Nobody understands why TEFL goes pool first. He just does.
It is a bit true.
Like, as we've seen in the last couple games, it doesn't really help him deal with the Reapers all too much better.
No, yeah, that flood of lings really didn't help him out at all. I think it's just something that he's used to doing. Also bear in mind, though, at least, it's one of those things where, even though it's technically better, I suppose, to go for that hatch first as well, it's, as long as the rest of your game is played at a high enough level, it really makes a minuscule difference. The problem, though, is that at tip-top GM level, minuscule differences do actually count for a lot. To you and me, or at least to me, it's like, well, yeah, okay, this seems suboptimal, but hey, you know, you keep macroing, you do your best, you scout, you make sure you know what's coming, and it's fine. But to these guys, every second, every mineral counts, and like you said, it's just very slightly suboptimal.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't really hindered him that much overall, apparently, because he's got a really solid CBT win rate and a really solid, just like, I want to just say he has a really solid build, because it's the same build every game, and it just works. It's just really, really good, and he's got super sick macro, and he plays the same style in ZVP, in ZVP. Like, for instance, he plays this style so often and so much that he has it completely perfected, to the point where he played Wilco in a best of 3 yesterday, and Wilco was saying that against TEFL, if you see that you've been supply blocked, you might as well leave the game.
Yep. Well, ooh, are we gonna get a... No, we're not. Doing a decent job so far on these drones, trying to run away, and we're gonna have to have... Oh, it's the hero spore crawler. We're gonna make sure that doesn't get stay up this game. And so far, just... Wow, that's 2 spore crawlers being made so far, and here comes the queen. Alright, injecting the hatchery for... Ooh, wow, cancelling that spore maybe slightly early there. He's gonna come around and see if he can pick... Yes, he does actually pick a single worker off, if I'm not mistaken. But there are workers number 2 and 3 very low as well, and the second Reaper is now coming in.
He hasn't seen the second Reaper. This could be a little bit bad. One goes down, one of the really weak drones. The other really weak drone also getting pretty low. He's got to build that extractor, but he doesn't. And he will lose the Reaper for it, though. So 2 worker kills for a Reaper. Not the greatest trade, but there's still 1 Reaper alive, which means that 4GG is not in a bad spot here with 3 worker kills already.
Also bear in mind, at no point in this game were both Reapers attacking at the same time, which is really where TEFL kind of fell apart, I want to say, in previous games. So far, I think, on the whole, he's doing alright.
Yeah. Well, 4GG, pretty far behind in supply, but that's absolutely perfectly standard. Going again for the 3rd CC into the tech lab on the racks. So he's going to add on 2 more racks again before the upgrades. He really seems to like this slow upgrade, fast production style. This could, as I said in the last game, just be something tailored towards TEFL, though.
Yeah, it's not doing an awful lot of damage at the moment, and this last Reaper just biding his time, but the Queens completely have him surrounded. There's just no chance. 3 workers killed this game, and the wall-off is beginning for our Zerg player. The Roach Warren incoming. Surprise, surprise, you might even see a Hydros down a little bit later on.
Yeah, and basically, TEFL's build allows him to do one of 2 things against Terran players. Either he can go for a 1-1 Roach timing, or go for a 2-2 Roach Hydra timing, or alternatively, he can go for a 1-1 Roach timing into a 2-2 Hydra timing. And those 3 things they're very, very difficult to deal with, as we saw in the last game for 4GG, because if they're well macroed, and they're well timed, and they're well executed, it's really hard to play against. And it looks like we're probably going to be seeing Roach Hydra because there's no second Diva Chamber yet for 4GG. So a +1 Roach timing doesn't really make much sense since a 1-1 Roach timing is viable.
All right. Well, there are 4 queens here at the moment. The single Reaper going to be heading up into the base. And amusingly, there's no queen cover there right now, so continuing to try and frustrate. We have the Hellions here, just keep an eye out. They might try and sneak into the natural expansion as well. Reaper comes back down, deciding there isn't going to be an opportunity for that. And here comes 4GG. He's trying to target down the queens, successfully getting one of them to about half health, but now the roaches are coming out as well. And this time around, I think Tefel's going to be feeling a bit more confident.
Yeah, and now Tefel's already just getting a bunch of roaches. He may go for a little poke. Roach speed hasn't started yet, which is, I think, an oversight because it's really going to be hard for him to have an effective Roach army if they don't have speed. They're so slow. Watch them move. They're so slow. They're like little queens that move a tiny bit faster.
Little queens. I think that's slightly harsh, but I see where you're coming from there. He does need to get that roach speed down ASAP. Building 9 drones at a time now. The +1 nearly finished. You're right, he just doesn't have that roach speed started. We'll be keeping an eye on OG. I certainly hope this doesn't cost him a large engagement a little bit later on, but I'm sure he'll notice at some point.
That's it. Like, if he doesn't get roach speed, that's going to be absolutely disastrous. They take so many extra shots before they get in attack range of like tanks and mines and marauders, everything, and he's just not getting it.
Here he comes towards the 3rd base location with the Hellions and Reaper again, managing to sandwich a little bit by the roaches there. That's going to please him a lot, and he's going to be able to rush and catch up with them with the roach speed. Nope. But he kills a couple of Hellions for free. Yeah. Like, in all seriousness, that was great for Tefel.
Yeah. It was pretty good. I mean,
oh, hello.
Hellion...
That's 5 additional racks. I think 4GG has a timing in mind.
All right. Yeah, this is pretty cool. He'll probably go with 1-1. He's starting 1-1 up right now. And this could be really, really strong. Roach speed has started!
Boom.
Success. Okay, there we go. He has noticed.
Speed.
Yeah, this is really important. Like, I can't express enough how absolutely massive it would have been if you forgot it for the entire game. Another couple of Hellions going down here for 4GG. Tefel, pretty good control on those roaches despite them being very immobile.
Yep, 6 workers killed so far this game, and bear in mind, this 3rd base location for Tefel is rather susceptible to units from the top sniping them down, be it drops, Hellions, or even, heaven forbid, a siege tank doing an awful lot of damage to these drones. So Tefel is going to need to keep control of this right-hand side of his 3rd base. Ideally, maybe get a couple of creep shroomers up onto the top as well so he can spot units coming in from the bridge.
I want to point out something interesting about the map and the spawn locations, that usually a Zerg will be crying a little bit inside when they see these spawn locations because it's just so easy for the Terran to just rally push across the map. But for Tefel, he's going to be very happy with this because the Roach Hydra style, obviously the reinforcements get across the map a lot slower, so having the ability to just spread creep over to the horizontal, and it's the closest location of an opponent's base, with the exception of maybe up and down. But overall, this is a pretty good spawn location for Tefel here. And I probably should have pointed that out earlier, but just felt like that would be a nice little tidbit of information to give out.
Double drop coming in towards the 3rd and went, hang on a second, there's a lot of roaches there, and decided against it. So, no, you make a great point, actually, expanding towards the opponent, as long as the creep threat, and the creep threat is continuing as well, is going to favor that slower army composition. There's a sneaky little marine sort of hidden in here. Of course, it is a changeling. Not going to do too much just yet, but at the moment, Tefel is just feeling pretty comfortable. He's at 166 supply, a little bit supply blocked actually, both players, 166 versus 137. Tefel currently still at 70 drones versus the 56 of 4GG, and we are going to have the start of what looks like a massive engagement here. Tefel coming in to try and get a good concave.
Yeah, a couple of roaches going down for free at the beginning there. +2 attack is now finished. +1/+1 is done for 4GG. No tanks this time around though, just a ton of bio, and I mean a ton. We see 4GG already pulling back. He doesn't want to lose that 3rd CC again. And of course, with the Hydras, the orbital command can be focused down fairly easily, as we saw in Polar Knight. And yeah, I mean, he's just going to try to get as good an engagement as possible. He has some SCVs at the front to try to tank. And once again, Tefel coming in from 2 sides.
All right, here we go. He's going to be coming on for the flank, up the ramp on both sides here. Is it going to be enough? The Hydra's actually not doing any DPS at the moment, and the army deciding to take on the army at the top. All of a sudden, Tefel is getting his army picked apart. The top half is going to die, and then the bottom half is going to die. This is not the engagement he wanted. 4GG holding off valiantly there. Tefel does at least recognize that his opponent is only on 2 bases, so he knows that he's going to be able to defend very, very hard. But so far, 4GG doing a great job.
Yeah, 4GG took that exceptionally well. There's even some slow lanes in here from Tefel. And at this point, 4GG, he has so much bio compared to last game. Last game he had like one tank shelling off, one that was stuck on the high ground, and a moderately okay amount of bio. This time around, 4GG has such a huge army that it's just really, really hard for TEFL to deal with this.
Now, he has 6 medevacs with this, so he's not too bad as well for the amount of bio he's got. Oh, we have a stim in as well. He's decided he needs to take it, and TEFL can't run away fast enough, so he is forced to at least take the initial surges of this engagement. 4GG trying to whittle down as many units as he possibly can. There's a lot of Hydras and a lot of DPS in here, and some of those Marines getting whittled down too. But 4GG has so much production, 14 Marines and a Marauder off the back of this, and 2 medevacs being produced at the same time. TEFL has to be careful. He doesn't overextend and lose his entire army.
This is a really good attack timing here for 4GG. The +2 Carapace for TEFL's not quite done yet, and he's absolutely demolishing this army here.
A couple of SCVs came in as well, and that actually distracted the Hydralisk for a little while, and the rest of this bio is going to clean up the entirety of this army. So off of that 2 base economy, off of that ridiculous amount of production, absolutely right, Penguin. Complete demolition job from the Terran player here.
That was disastrous for TEFL, and the problem now for 4GG, though, is that he doesn't really have an economy to fall back on. He does have 3 CCs of mules, but he's only down to 37 workers, so he's gonna need a he's really gonna need to just surge forward now and kill off TEFL now, or at least do critical damage here. And he's looking to do just that. The army here for TEFL doesn't look too strong, but it has a very, very strong concave.
No, I don't think it's going to be enough, to be honest. I think TEFL needs to sit back and wait until he gets maximum numbers of units, because if he holds up this push, he'll be in a great position. And, oh,
2-2's done now for 4GG, JoRoSaR.
Yeah, I think TEFL just needed a couple more units to sit back a bit further and wait, because 4GG, you're right, he basically has to win the game with this push. The problem is I think he's doing it.
Yeah, he's looking phenomenal. There's a lot of DPS Hydras out here, but there's nothing to really tank for them. The drone's coming off the line to try, but they're not very tanky either. 4GG up 50 supply here. TEFL is just sending in slow lings now. That's not going to do anything, and this looks just about over, JoRoSaR. GG.
And 4GG, ladies and gentlemen, qualifies for the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne with a 2-1 victory over a resilient Dignitas TEFL who falls to the lower bracket.